Live from New York, it's your host, Dr. Sherry Mamjara Taal. And from somewhere in North America, we have Miriam.
Hi. How
Yes.
are you?
Hello. Miriam is with my social media group, Nexna. So check them out on nexna.com. And it is going to be a wonderful podcast with us today. We have some enlightening information and news to share with you. And I know everyone was expecting us to go live Wednesday and Thursday of this week, but I was seeing patients who have more severe mental illness this week. So those patients were assigned to me, and it takes a lot of time to help them, get their care coordinated, contact their pharmacy, get their labs done. So sometimes one day just runs into the next. So I started out on Monday, and today I feel more normal. It was like I was in a twilight zone. Okay, so this is how it is when you're seeing patients and you're always, busy working and responding to people. Yeah. So this is life as a nurse doctor. You just lose total track of reality and time. So I hope our viewers, accept my sincerest apology. I will try to stay on track this coming week. Miriam, tell everyone what they should expect this coming week from us.
This coming week, as usual, they expect like every day we keep covering a subject.
Okay.
We too much these couple of weeks into as we talked. I think last week we covered a lot of mental health issues like narcissism, right? And we'll keep covering the same subject with a new subject. That's like, because you'll be having news, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I will let you say the news and the main subject of this podcast.
Okay. The main subject. Okay.
Yeah.
We wanted to cover another story about my experience with a narcissist, right? And we want to give a status, an update about the Lovemaking / Foreplay Lovemaking guide that we have coming out tomorrow, right? And
Congratulations.
they're going to love it. So they're going to love it even more. It was supposed to be today that we released it on Patreon and on our website, taalcare.com. But we decided to, release it tomorrow, Sunday, because I made a last minute contribution, right? And I'll tell you a little bit about it, viewers. It's called the Dr. Taal Touch and Tug Technique, right? So we know women have a lot of different, erogenous places. Some people, it's their feet. Some people, it's their neck, their back, their lips, their, thighs. So this I came across by accident. So below the buttocks, fellas, right? If you were to just gently tug down 3 or 4 times, that might, be stimulating, right, for your partner. So we, added that information to the book. I was talking to Dr. Pewey, our herbalist. We haven't spoken to him in a while, right, Miriam?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So I was talking to Dr. Pewey. Yeah, a few months ago, Dr. Pewey this morning, because a friend of mine, he was telling me he went to visit a friend who's from Sierra Leone, and that's in West Africa, close to the Gambia.
Oh.
And his wife made a potion, a tea. It was peach colored, he says, maybe light beige. And after he drank the tea and was driving home, he started feeling those feelings that men feel. And when he got home, his wife was like, "What happened to you?" And he was like on fire after that tea. And then he said this thing lasted 3 days. And he says, name of it is atate. So I've been asking around, if anyone knows about atate, and no one knows.
Is it a plant? Is it
we
is it
have
a
no
plant or
idea.
it's a combination of different things?
I can't figure it out yet what she put in that tea. I asked Dr. Pewey. He says, oh, don't worry, I have plenty of herbal remedies and different potions that men can try. So I'll include one of those in the book, and we want to invite Dr. Pewey back, maybe not this coming week, but the following week, so he can give us, potions for men and women. Right, Miriam?
Yeah. That will be really helpful to a lot of people that are following your channel. They can, especially in this specific areas, they can get some portions, some remedies, some depends on everyone's issue, right?
Yeah.
But some things that can maybe help.
Yeah. So we'll try to have something for everyone. Okay.
And we can include them in the taalcare.com, even in the newsletters. So if everyone go to taalcare.com, so you can get more help with Dr. Taal, newsletters. It's $5 a month, $50 a year. And so if you subscribe to the newsletters, you'll be receiving all of these informations on your newsletter weekly basis.
Yes, and we'll include the link for the newsletter, on this video, okay, when we're done with the podcast for you. Make it easy for you. All right. So, there's different approaches that women need. Some women, if you massage their back or you're behind them, that's maybe they feel safe that way, right? So it's all about how you connect with your partner and your approach. Because men, we're told we have to get them to be excited, but the women need to some of us need a little help with that as well. And I don't think they pay attention to women as much, because it's all about men getting to a point where they can have a good experience, and if we can reproduce, whether we're just feeling satisfied or we experience the big O, oh, yes. Oh, yes, gentlemen. Oh, yes. The big O. Okay. Just thought we'd slip that in there for you, right? So anyway, we can have an in-depth discussion about this next Saturday. What do you think, Mary?
Okay, amazing. So this book contains how many chapters?
I just made it simple, maybe 6 chapters.
Okay, 6 chapters.
6 or 7 chapters.
And every chapter is covering different technique, different approach, or how does it?
Oh, that's part 2, Mary. But this is just like a quick guide.
I'm moving to part 2 right away.
Yes, this is like a quick guide to get everyone,
Okay.
get everyone going. And yes, so we want to vitalize our viewers here on Vitalize Africa. All right. So
I got another question. So my question is, what is the advice that you would give to people out of this book? The advice that you think it's the...
Right. So to pay attention to your partner, it's directed at men. I want men to, help women explore more, connect better, and not just say, okay, does this feel good? What, are you there? So it should be a more intimate, safe place, and more, a better approach.
Yeah.
Spend more time together.
Connect more, right?
What's that, Miriam?
This book will help people connect more to each other, right?
That's the goal. Yes. And explore more.
Okay. And how can we find the book? Where can we find it?
Right. It's going to be on Patreon. Right now, we have a Patreon, African Defenders. We're going to change that to Vitalize Africa. Okay. And it will be on our website, taalcare.com. If you have questions, if you can't find the guide, it's not a book, it's just a little guide. Just a little guide. We're trying to guide folks around here, right? So quick read, But big, yeah, big help. Okay, so that's our plan. So you can have a quick read and big help. Okay, and maybe
basically it won't take that long to read it, but it's gonna be effective.
exactly, and hopefully save marriages and relationships out there. Yeah, so that's our plan. So yes, all right. So
let's move to the story.
Yes, let's move to Dr. Taal's other experience with the narcissist. So I'll tell you another tale by Dr. Taal and my personal experience with a narcissist. We were talking earlier, Miriam, narcissism, it's a very complicated condition. So it's very confusing, and the narcissist is also confused. So it's something I think we started explaining last week, but we'll just take it bit by bit. So this week, I'll just share a little bit more my story and, what you find in this mental health condition.
Yes.
And people can identify certain things as we go along that maybe they can say, yeah, this is really happening to me too, All right.
Yeah.
So yes. So, all right. Today I'll share how I was emotionally abused and punished by the narcissist. Okay. So before I discovered that I had ADHD, attention deficit disorder, where, I'm, easily distracted, can't get things done, always late. This was my life before. Okay. When I was married to the narcissist, unfortunately. So here's one situation where almost every Sunday, of course, I was late for church because it took me forever to find things, get things done, because I have ADHD. So because of that, we would drive to church because we were late, mostly every Sunday. We would drive to church in complete silence. But when we got to church, people who knew us, people at church would greet us, and, the narcissist would be nice to me, when we were out in public at church, right? But as soon as we would get home, I would get the silent treatment. And this is another thing narcissists will do. They will make sure you get the silent treatment. So I would be there with the narcissist and he wouldn't talk to me for 2 or 3 days. Okay. This was my punishment. Right.
It's too long, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, this was my punishment for being late to church. So, and if I tried to talk, I would serve dinner, fix up the house, but the narcissist would be watching YouTube, watching television, do everything else, talk to their family, do everything else except talk to me, right? So I was like, not, how would you say, not involved with the narcissist at all in any way, for a few days. So the narcissist would, if I would say something, they would respond in a sarcastic way, a nasty way, a mean way. So that would mean, stay away, right? Okay. So what else did I experience? So that's another tale. They'll do the silent treatment. And then last week, will they get physical? Yeah, some will get violent, some will get physical. There can be gaslighting, but it's not necessarily because of narcissism in a lot of cases. Things just happen that way, right? So yes, you do have to be careful because these people can get physically abusive or, very aggressive. All right. Yeah. So because the narcissist has been wounded, all right, in their past, usually in childhood, okay, usually by their mother or their caregiver, who mortified them. And when we say mortified someone, they shamed them in some way. They made them feel helpless or humiliated in some way, okay? And mothers might do that by saying, you really disappointed me when you did that. let's see, what else can someone say? Make comments or have certain expectations that will shame someone or humiliate. You really failed at that, didn't you? You know, I mean, this is like, you know, for a young person who's, you know, egocentric, because as children, we feel, you know, egocentric means that, you know, you, the world, like the narcissist, the world revolves around you, right? So, yeah, and children are like that, because I met a 5-year-old recently, and the 5-year-old says to me, you know, you're my little baby. And I'm like, what? You're, in reality, you're the baby, right? But in their mind, yeah, it's not reality, right? And this is what happens to the narcissist. They never become independent, you know, with their thoughts and actions, basically. And they're still having that childlike mind where, you know, it's not based, their thoughts are not based in reality.
So I have a question, because you said you've been getting the silence treatment, right? So what was your feeling?
I felt like the narcissist did not love me, really. And the more it happened, and they really don't, okay? You get the love bombing, you get the, you know,
You feel appreciated and loved.
Appreciation, yeah, at first, but they're not entering a relationship with you to have a successful relationship or successful marriage. That's not their goal.
So
their goal, right? Their goal is to get you to play the role of that mother that they have unresolved issues with. Okay. So you unknowingly are in that role of the mother or the caregiver, right? Yes. So they are going to, you know, get to the point where they devalue you, they, you know, and then they will discard you. Okay. Yeah. So that's their way of compensating. Okay. If you're not going along with their program, which is not based in reality, okay, this is the end game. So it was never meant to last. Okay. It was just a movie that, yeah, they were playing, and you were the star.
So you can feel always down and not
right. Good. So they, yeah, this is what they want to probably do to their mother or their caregiver, but they end up doing it to you instead of going to that person and resolving these issues.
Okay, yeah.
And in some ways, you know, it might not have been humiliation or you know, shame or anything like that. It could have been the mother pampered this person too much, right? They had these high expectations. So this person now uses their beauty, their, you know, charm, their, you know, these different things that they have developed as a narcissist to, you know, attract people into their world, right? And so that's another form of abuse, you know, when your parents do that to you. You know, they have you on this high pedestal and you're, you know, you're the best and you're pampered and you're, you know, you're not spoiled, you're not based in reality. You know, that's not right. You have to expose, you know, your children, your your loved ones to reality and help them to be independent from that. Yeah.
So we have to create a balance. That's what you're trying to say. We have to create a balance for the children so they don't get too spoiled, not too.
Right. You have to create a separate identity away from the mother. It's called bad objects and, you know, different objects to that person. So we'll talk more about that next week. So join us for Mental Health Thursday. We'll break it down a little more, go way back to the narcissist and their childhood. Okay, so that's where we should begin. For some people, like some women, they ended up in mental trauma after they went into a depression, could have been because of a relationship. So then they, end up in a fantasy world. Okay. And, for a lot of them, they're able to put on this face in public where everything is great and their kid is great and they get all of the, compliments about their kid. That's what they push for, so they can live through this kid, right? If they have children. But then if the child is at home with them, it's a different world. Okay. The child does not get any affection, attention. They don't get any empathy. There's no love. Okay. So it's a totally different, life from what the public sees. Okay. Yeah.
Why would they do that? Is it a lack of empathy, or are they narcissists as well,
Right.
or how do you...
Right. They have a pattern of inflation and I guess deflation, or maybe there's another word for that. But yeah, their ego, okay, is built up, okay, for the public to see that they're the best, they're the good, but it's a fantasy world. And then they can't seem to, and as we go along, we'll talk more about how it affects the children, because in a lot of cases, guess what? The child is going to become a narcissist, right?
And so basically they will pass that to the next generation.
Exactly. So this is what this poor kid is experiencing. And
so are you gonna give some hints about the opposite sex as well?
For women?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could write a whole book. I promised you I will. Hopefully we can release that by the end of November. And the one for the male narcissist, I'm calling it Neutralize the Narcissist. We'll have it ready by the end of October. So that's our plan for October. Starting tomorrow, our viewers will be able to access the guide, the Lovemaking Foreplay guide, on taalcare.com or Vitalize Africa, which is now currently African Defenders, on Patreon. But we'll have the link for both of those for you, after this podcast.
Amazing. So basically on Patreon, we'll find the 3 books. Tomorrow you will release the Lovemaking, and then the male narcissism, and then the female narcissism, right?
Yes, and we're going to invite Dr. Puey back for, to share some potions on Wellness Wednesday. Maybe not this week, but the following week. Tomorrow, we have a very special guest. He's from Sierra Leone, and he's building helicopters. So,
helicopters. Nice.
Yeah, so we want to share with our viewers on the continent, the African continent, and the African diaspora, and around the world, some of his achievements, and hopefully we can get some support for his projects as well.
Hopefully, thank you so much for your Sunday lives. You've been exposing and diffusing a lot of businesses and helping them. So if everyone have a business or an idea and they want to make it make some advertisements on it, just put a comment or send a message on Instagram or directly to the email, and you will get a response, and then you can be on Sunday on the live Sunday, so you can talk about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Email us at taalcare@gmail.com. Definitely. And so any final words before we end our podcast today, Miriam?
I would say don't forget to check taalcare.com for more information and for more help. Expect the book tomorrow, right, on Patreon and on taalcare.com as well. And keep up, follow, subscribe, and comment to support Dr. Taal's channel. And see you next time.
Yeah, stay happy,
What about
healthy,
you, doctor?
and wise. What's that, Marion?
I said, what about you? Any final words?
Yeah, stay happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And if you feel that, you are in a difficult relationship or you're always having difficult relationships, you can, send your questions to me through taalcare.com. If you feel you need more support right now, you can email directly at taalcare@gmail.com. But yeah, as we go along, you're going to learn more and you're going to find ways to, cope and have a better quality of life. All right. See you tomorrow.